When your waters rise and your bounty overwhelms us,
the earth trembles with ecstasy. Life is reborn. All is nurtured.
But when you subside, the very gods despair.
And men become slighter than their shadows.
O Nile, restore joy to men's hearts. O Nile, axis of all Egypt, rise and let your voice be heard.
We hail you, Harpy, when you come forth from your cavern.
Empty the 2 great water jugs you carry in your hands. Give us the gift of yourself.
Come to our aid, you who are the source of all life.
The seeds are withering away.
Children cry with hunger, and old men's hearts are heavy.
We implore you. Look, they're already preparing the sacrifice in the temple.
I see them.
O Nile, raise your voice. Let it thunder forth.
I have heard your prayers. Very soon I shall leave my bed, and your granaries will once more be swollen with wheat. But I cannot shower my blessings on you until the sign is given.
What sign?
This is the last night of the year, and I must wait until Sophis, the dog star, appears in the east before I can grant your wishes. For 70 days it has not appeared, but when dawn comes, it will call me. The sun will slowly begin to rise, and I will overflow my banks and leave my bed. So it was, every year for thousands and thousands of years.
Every year? Except when your waters dry up, or even disappear. Then there is famine, and the gods must listen to men's lamentations and undo the harm the drought your absence brings.
That time is past. Now things have changed.
Changed?
Who is this that speaks to me in the night?
Some know me as Juno, others as Bellona, still others as the Virgin.
And the Egyptians?
Their ancient wisdom has taught them my real name. And you too will learn it when you hear my gold-bangled priestesses chanting the words engraved on the frieze of my sanctuary.
Mistress of Nubia, Queen of Upper and Lower Egypt, you have revealed the power of woman. You are the light in men's hearts, ruling over fire, wind, and lightning.
Your power is equal to that of men.
From the Egyptian Nile to the great Ganges in India, as far even as Lutetia.
Now I know you. You are Isis, the Venerable.
Yes, I am Isis. I'm the unhappy goddess, for I can no longer find my temple in this chaos of rock. It has disappeared, swallowed up by your water.
You are mistaken, Isis. Look, here. If you gaze through the ninth arch of the colonnade, you may once again see the island of Semlin, which modern men call Philae, that rocky isle which first received the bounty of my waters.
Here lies the tomb of Osiris.
Osiris, your husband and brother, this island where you came at 10-day intervals.
Abaddon, the hidden place, the sacred place where I came to pour out libations of milk to give my husband eternal youth.
Yes, Semnon is still there. Look, Isis, nothing has changed. who are the goddess of this place, you will see and hear once again what humans may only imagine. You can read the scrolls in the magnificent library, and when you enter the temple courtyard, you will see once again on the left the same sign as your heart, the peristyle of Mamizi, that happy place where you gave birth to your son, Horus. Horus, with his finger always in his mouth.
Yes, I remember.
Now men will always remember. Look and listen. First comes the watchman, the high priest of the constellations, climbing to his post atop the monumental gateway. Without end, let us watch.
Be embroidered on their shoulders.
And so, theater, born of a religious ceremony, was performed in your honor, Isis.
I play the role of Isis, perfumed with lotus flower. And I, that of her sister Nephthys. Speak, Isis. Why so pale and troubled? Ah, my sister, how should I not be troubled? This dreadful thing. Speak. Our brother, Seth, my husband, has committed an abominable crime. Yet another. You know his jealousy of Osiris, the good and just God. Who is both your husband and your brother. Your brother, too. Thus the divine legend has it. But do not interrupt me. I must tell you of his crime. Seth invited Osiris and 72 other guests to a great banquet. As the meal ended, he ordered that a richly decorated coffer be brought. Listen, I will let you hear his voice.
Listen, all of you. I give this coffer to him whose body fits it perfectly.
Osiris was the only one whose body filled it exactly. But as soon as he lay down...
Come, all of you. Seal the lid and throw it in the Nile. Let the current carry it off.
Must set off again. We searched in every country until we found them. I pieced Osiris's body together and embalmed it. I beat my wings furiously above him, and the great wind that arose breathed a moment's life into his body. You beat your wings over him and brought him back to life. You resurrected him, and the plants began to live again. He sowed his seed in me, and I gave horrors to the world. Here, in the secret place of Mamizi, your son became Lord of Egypt and the universe.
Isis, the faithful wife, faithful even beyond death.
Yes, even beyond death.
The tabernacle. Here is the image of Isis. And now the 10th day begins. Isis, take your place in the sacred bark which will carry you to Semnon, to Osiris's tomb, to pour out your libations of life-giving milk. Then offerings must be placed on 365 tables, so that woods and fields will grow green again.
This I will do, for Osiris is the spirit of the plant kingdom.
Stop the tambourines. While Philae is dedicated to the living, Semnon is dedicated to the dead god, the murdered god, whom Isis helped triumph over death.
Look, the sky is growing pink, and And there, in the same place, the sun, like a great golden lotus, rises above my waters. The sign has been given. I can take possession of Egypt and baptize it with my life-giving waters. I will distribute my largesse. The cattle will tread your swollen land and trample the seed into the ground. Your harvest will be legendary.
Dance and joy. Look at your temple, so beautiful in the rays of the rising sun.
Look rather at your own temple, Isis, before you look at mine. Do you not see that I have good reason to sigh? Your monumental gates dwarf me. I was not here at Philae when the king Nectar-Nebo built the great gates in the hypostyle hall. 2 Ptolemies, the 6th and the 8th, took pity on me and built a small temple to console me. Later, Augustus the Roman decorated my walls to console me.
To console?
Yes, because here all speak of your glory, none of mine.
Always the same. You are unjust, Hathor. Read what is engraved on your walls and the columns my waters caress.
Hathor, hundreds of sanctuaries have been built for you all over Egypt, in Thebes, Dandara, and Memphis. You are the goddess of great mountains and distant countries. Let me have Philae.
Every year the people implore you to return to Philae, which you have so often deserted. In olden times they welcomed you with flowers, music, and dancing. Listen to your high-breasted, curly-headed priestesses welcome you back once more to Philae.
We will always welcome you. The whole island is given over to joy.
Ah, yes. 'Tis true, to joy as it is today. These words have warmed my heart.
Thus is Hathor consoled.
It is well for her, but I am not consoled. I cannot accustom myself to this change. My sanctuary is all scattered.
But you should thank men for their deeds. There your temple rises up just as it did before, and your island still has the shape of that bird whose wings brought Osiris back to life.
Perhaps. But in mourning my murdered Osiris, I fed your floodwaters with my tears. Today, your flooding is only a memory in Egypt that grows dimmer with every new generation.
So much the better. What does it matter if the dams men have built to retain my waters leave no room for their poetry? For now, flowing from my birthplace in deepest Africa, I have become truly the storehouse of Egypt.
You did not always speak thus. In the past, you fed Egypt at your whim. O Hapi, who gave Egypt to the world.
Now I give it back to the Egyptians. Do I not have the right to change, like my waters, changing from green to red, from the green of the tall grasses torn from the banks of Sudan to the red silt of African mud?
But your overflowing waters once gave life to these banks.
I wasted my riches. More than half escaped to the sea. I was too generous and often too miserly. When the life-giving flow was absent, famine stalked the land. And there's something else.
What else?
Now my tumbling waters give Egypt a new life of light and energy.
Why did you let them tame you?
But is it not best for everyone? I am old and growing tired. It is a long journey, 6,600 kilometers as men measure today. Besides, they were right.
They?
Men. The men and women from all over the world who banded together to save your temple and bring it here.
I liked it better when it was mirrored in your water.
I'm not far away.
But now you do not come inside my walls.
So much the better.
How so?
Because when I embraced your temple, I weakened your columns. My waters eddied around your foundations. Your monumental gateways would have fallen. Your images and your graffiti, the voices of the dead would have been obliterated. So, Egypt called on all nations that admire the most brilliant of civilizations and call it their ancestor. Philae, Abu Simbel, and the other temples were to be saved from my waters. Just from this huge modern sarcophagus, and began their Herculean task. With machines made in another world, they lifted 40,000 blocks weighing ton upon ton, as tenderly as you, Isis, once cradled Horus. Saved from the waters. And no one who has seen it would suspect that it has undergone the slightest change in 2,000 years.
But why did they do all that? Just to save a few inscriptions?
No, Isis. Not just to save the inscriptions carved on your walls, but the memory of them. The ceaseless ebb and flow of my waters between the two great dams would gradually have silenced the voices of those who once worshipped you here. Listen. Once they came, and their faces were reflected in my waters. Now they return at night to read what they once engraved upon your walls.
A homage I did not wish.
And from the southern lands, we came to the edge of Egypt, where deepest Africa ends, to see your domain.
How many times has Philae changed masters?
I, Antony, protected the throne of Cleopatra.
I, the great Cleopatra VII, came here to worship the goddess Isis.
The Romans came, vanquished the nomads, and pushed back the blemishes. This was the zenith of Philae's glory.
All who have come here.
Here is the sacred boat-shaped shrine.
The bed of the pharaoh.
He who has worshipped Isis here, the gods will smile upon.
And we, the terrible blemish warriors who once laid the country waste, fell down in adoration before you, O Isis.
I, Maximim, commander of the Egyptian armies, allowed the Blemish to take the statue of Isis, their protectress, to Nubia once a year.
The heavy bark carries the statue of Isis gently along the Nile. A priest stands before the sacred altar, and we accompany the goddess to her second home, her Nubian birthplace. And every year, we bring her back to Philae, where Egypt and Africa meet and part. Philae. The minarets of Belal rose towards the sky, and in the middle of the island lay the tomb of a sheikh who united all the faithful. The site became Kasar, the castle of Anas el-Ugun.
I
the daughter of the Sultan with all my heart. Her name was Zarat Ilwan, and she was more beautiful than life. Her father disapproved of my passion and shut his daughter up. I could not eat or drink, and took refuge in the desert. My only companions were the wild beasts who gave me their friendship. A monk told me that my beloved was held prisoner on Philae, and because I had been a friend of the animals, the crocodile took pity on me, and guided by the birds, carried me to her on his back. When I arrived at Philae, I learned that the shrewd and clever Zarat had used her clothes to make a rope and escaped from her prison. I found my beloved in hiding, not far from here, and she became my wife.
And all pay homage to your beauty, O Isis. Your name still echoes proudly throughout the world.
Now the sun is setting.
And throughout this long day, men and women have come to adore you, Isis.
You are the source of all life. You command fire and light.
You are the source of all life.
You who gave immortality to the great Osiris.
Yes, you are the source of all life.